No one showed up. Hello, everyone. Hello. Happy Thursday. Almost said Wednesday. Happy it's Thursday, not Wednesday. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to give everyone a couple of minutes, not minutes, probably just seconds to get in, get settled. Today we've got myself, Lindsay, and Emily. We also have a surprise guest, Brandon, on with us today, who will be helping take care of questions and chat for us. So we'll give everyone a couple more seconds to get logged in, get settled. Thank you for joining us. I hope you guys are doing okay with the extended deadline. And then also if you guys just finished the deadline, you stuck with the original. Put in the chat, where are you guys joining in from? We're curious.
Or did they just recently receive snow like some of us?
Yeah, I know. So wild. Yeah, I'm in sunny Reno, Nevada right now. So,
whoa, Lindsay, did you say snow wild? Is that supposed to be a pun?
Okay, I did not, but I should have. I'm really bummed that I missed that opportunity. We got some Hoosiers in here. Woo-hoo. We got Franklin, Tennessee, New Jersey, South Carolina, Dallas. No snow since February freeze. That is good to hear. Very good. Oh, look at you all. Well, hello. Welcome, everyone. Sunny PDX. Oh, yeah. That's rare, too. I'm like, for sun. Montana, and it's snowing.
Oh, man.
Rochester, New York. Went to college in Reno. Reno's beautiful. I'm spending some time in California this summer for sure, since it's so close. Okay, so we've got a lot of people here now. We can go ahead and get started. So welcome to the Lindsay and Emily Show. We try and do this once a month. We didn't do it last month because everyone was pretty busy, pretty heads down. Today we've got a lot of different stuff we're going to cover. As always, you are more than welcome to ask questions during the webinar. Please remember to try and keep them relevant to the topic that we're covering today, because we are going to go through quite a bit. If you have things like feature requests, if you have questions about workflow, anything like that, you can always chat with us after the webinar and we are happy to help. So today we're going to be covering message templates and some other FAQs. So let's get into the agenda. So we have a couple of feature updates we want to cover with you guys. We'll talk about the roadmap a little bit. I just saw the chat. Who was that? Wayne. Can I be the first to say you need raises? Thank you, Wayne. Tell that to Chris. I'm just kidding. So we're going to cover a little bit about the roadmap, talk about Edox, talk about working as a team, account owner refresher, and then we do have an end user FAQ that we have been getting a lot this season. So we wanted to cover that with everyone. It'll be a pretty short and sweet one, but we wanted to cover it. So, oh, who would have guessed?
What is this?
What? We have a YouTube channel? Who guessed? Who would have thought? Okay, you know I had to plug it. So if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, search Lisio CX on YouTube, subscribe. So some of the features that we're talking about today, we had a video that dropped the same exact day that we released the feature. So that means if you want to stay up to date on features, if you want to join me on some of my most recent coffee breaks that I do on YouTube, subscribe and you will be notified about when new videos drop.
You know, I heard this thing, Lindsay, that people will take a coffee cup and blow on it to make people think it's actually coffee. So guys, it's probably wine.
Shooting midday, drinking wine, you know, it actually has been coffee. So, okay, so that's that for the YouTube channel. I am sure you will hear me mention it more and more throughout the webinar because I am shameless. New feature updates. Okay, let's go through these. Feel free to ask questions about them. First one that's up, message templates, guys, message templates. And for this, I did just want to check briefly. I do have a poll. I'm going to go through this feature with you guys, but to start, I have a quick poll for you guys. I'm launching it now. I'm just curious because we always like to know who has started using message templates. And if you have, and there, oh, look at this. I love watching the numbers too. I'm going to give you guys like 45 seconds or so, something like that. So, oh, and We've got Kristen asking, are there task templates coming? Oh,
Ooh, you just wait.
yeah, you just wait. You wait. We will get to that. Okay, so we've got quite a few people. No, you are totally fine, Kristen. We were happy to have the questions. Oh, just use it today to send financials. That is awesome. Really glad to hear that. Okay, we've got about 79% of you guys have voted. Let's see. I'm going to give it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'm closing it. Okay, so we've got about 35% of you guys using the feature and 65% of you are saying there are message templates. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is why, guys, it's time to subscribe to the YouTube channel, baby. I'm serious. It's how you get the information. Okay, let's take a look at message templates then. So message templates are controlled in the admin section of Lisio. So this means that firm admins are the people that set them up, edit them, and remove them. So obviously you click the 3 dots, admin and templates. Couple things here. You will have 5 standard templates that we start you off with. You are more than welcome to edit these, remove them, and then obviously add some of your own. A couple things to mention here. When you are, well, I do want to point out, you can actually kind of drag and drop these around to have a specific sort order. But when you come into a message template, you can have things in here like embedded links. So if you want to add a link to the YouTube videos or anything like that, if you have like a guide, you can also have attachments on these. And there are a couple of different ways you can actually use these. So let's go through this. And Emily, feel free, if there are questions that pop in as I'm going through this, you can stop me, you know that. Okay, so obviously you can use these on a one-on-one message, right? Whenever you're just sending a message to a client, you're going to be able to, when you click on the subject line of the message, you will have the dropdown of your message templates here. Now, when I choose one, I do have the ability to edit this single message before I send it. So if I just want to add something in here, I can do that. It's not going to change the template overall. It's just going to change this one instance. Okay, so they are right here when you hit your subject line. Grab them from the dropdown. And as I mentioned, firm admins are going to be the people to add those, edit, and remove them in the entirety. So another way to use these is actually bulk actions. So when you click bulk actions and send message, and let's say, for example, maybe I have something that I need to update all of my Schedule Cs about, right? Maybe I get a notice, and of course I don't have any Schedule Cs in here. Okay, we're going to choose organization. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab anyone that I need here. Next step. And then you can choose from your message templates here. So if you have a really standard announcement that you need to send to your clients, you're going to be able to grab right from your message templates, make any edits, add any attachments that you need, and then shoot it off. Okay. Another area where this will come in handy, when you are uploading a file, you also have message templates available here. This is also, Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, this is available in Lisio Dispatch, correct?
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah. So if you are going to be sending out draft tax returns or a standard P&L report to clients over and over again, as soon as you print from your system to Lisio Dispatch, you are, Joe says, you can create your own templates. You can. Yeah, you can totally create your own templates. And I can show you what that looks like as well. So basically though, when you're uploading a file, when you are sending a file from a system to Lisio Dispatch, creating a one-on-one message or a bulk action send message, you can use message templates. So what's really great about this, guys, is that you have a little bit more control over the language that's used in your firm overall, right? And you know that you can maintain a certain sense of professionalism, especially if you have people that are seasonal employees, maybe part-time employees, and you want to be real careful about how they're communicating to your clients. Message templates is really going to help. And I see we have a question. What is Lisio Dispatch? Oh, buddy. So Lisio Dispatch is actually a way that you can bridge the gap between the systems you use and Lisio. So it actually allows you to print PDFs from any system that allows you to print a PDF directly to Lisio. And I don't know if you just set me up, But this is another way to utilize the YouTube channel. We actually have a couple of different videos about Lisio Dispatch on the YouTube channel. I highly recommend checking them out so you can learn a little bit more about the feature and you can learn how to install it. So I know Joe asked about you can create your own templates. Let me show you just quickly how you do that. So again, firm admin, right? So it's a firm admin controlled feature, templates. And then up in the upper right corner, you've got your plus template button. And you can come in here and create your subject line, your description. You can also, as I mentioned, add hyperlinks in here. So if you have a link to a survey, for example, so I know this is a good use case. Some firms, especially once it gets around to the time when electronic signatures are going out, they may like to send a survey out to clients that says, hey, would you like the option to e-sign? You can put that survey link in your message template. And you can also add standard attachments as well. So if you want to send out a newsletter and you want it to be a PDF attachment, you can do that. Okay, any questions over message templates before I move forward? We good? Okay, all right, awesome. So message templates, if you want to check it out after the webinar, there's a video on YouTube, so check it out. Okay, next is copy and paste images into messages. So this is really nice for when you need to add like a quick screenshot or anything like that into a message. So I just want to show you what this looks like real quick. So if you're like me, I use the snipping tool for screenshots. So I'm going to come in here, grab this, and I'm going to copy my image. And if I really need to send this one to a client, I'm going to go right into my inbox real quick. And you can do this on a new message or an existing message. Obviously, either is fine. But when you go to reply here, you can actually just choose to paste and it will paste this screenshot into the message for you. Now, one thing to note here is that this image that's pasted in here, it's not going to be stored in your file section of Lisio, right? It is just going to be a screenshot in a message thread. That's it. So if you have a quick question for them on, a file they uploaded or whatever it is, take a quick screenshot, paste it into the message thread. Okay. So that's brand new. That's just like a nice little feature that we've added. Any questions? We all good so far? Okay. Sorry, you guys probably can't see Emily, but she just gave me a little thumbs up and it was really cute. Okay, the other thing, and Emily, I'll ask you, has this gone live today or are we still waiting for that to go live?
Those are live.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so some of you guys may remember the previous email notifications. Some of you may not. Either way, the previous email notifications had quite a bit of information on them. It was a little bit hard for end users to really figure out what they needed to do with it, right? So the team took a really hard look at the email notifications and they have simplified them to make it really, really dead simple, show the end user exactly what they need to do. So this went live today. We will be updating some of our videos to reflect this as well. Okay. Oh, we have a really fun poll. It's just a really fun one. I'm just curious to see how everyone is doing. Okay. So this is about busier season. How's the busier season going for you? Like a breeze? Like I need a stiff drink? It's not over for us? Or like I need a month-long vacation? Oh my gosh. I love
number 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah. We're just having a fun little time. Oh, and then we do have a question. Will Lisio have a spell check or grammar check? So Jay, what I typically recommend is actually using your in-browser spell check. So if you're using Google Chrome actually does have a setting that will allow you to turn on a spell check. That's what I use and it works perfectly for me. So highly recommend that. Okay, so 80% of you guys have voted. I'm just going to leave this up for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we had a lot of people say it's not over for us yet. Well, for those of you here that have answered that way, thank you for joining us today. I know that it's really busy and a really stressful time. So we appreciate you guys showing up and giving us your attention today. So thank you. Okay, so that's it for the polls that I think that we're going to have. And then now I am actually going to turn this over to Emily. She's going to go through a little bit of a roadmap update for you guys. Keep in mind, and I'll stop sharing my screen now, Emily, and I'll let you share. Keep in mind, guys, that for roadmap, obviously, we will not have all of the answers to your questions about all of the stuff here, but we will try and answer some questions for you if you have them. But we really just want to give you guys an idea of kind of what's coming up next. So with that being said, I'm going to mute myself because I won't stop talking if I don't.
We have this conversation about, do we drink caffeine before the webinar or not? Next time, maybe not, Lindsay. No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Okay. All right. I'm going on mute now.
Okay, so just like Lindsay said, we're not going to have the answer to specific dates when these will be released. We just want to let you know what we're working on because we're super, super excited. And number one, we've already had a handful of questions about in the chat, is task templates. They are going to be in our testing stage very, very soon. So we are really excited. And you may have noticed that we have been starting to announce our newest feature releases inside of Lisio. So you will know as soon as they are available within Lisio. Number two is a really important one because you probably want to have your standard templates for Edox when you start to send those out. So that's coming as well. Number three is a huge one. We are working with Carbon on an integration. We've seen a little bit of a sneak peek, and from what we can see or what we've seen, it's very, very cool. So more to come on that. Number four, Smart Vault integration. Also another big one. A lot of people have been asking for it. It is underway. And billing. We know that you all have been really curious about billing, and we love when you ask us how it's going because we know you care and you're excited just like us. So I have a little more information on that one. We as Liscio are going to actually move into the billing feature first to really make sure that we understand how it's working so we can teach you and that we have it running because running to the best that we can, because you know that we like to have our features working at 100%, you know, really, really well for you. So we'll implement it first and then we'll put it out to the masses. Number six, I'm sure a lot of you could say has been long awaited. So get excited for out of office message forwarding. Number seven, groups and aliases. This one personally, probably one of my favorites on the list. This is going to be really helpful for maybe larger firms that have a need for more than 5 people on a client service team. That's all I'll tell you for now, but I hope you're excited for that one. And the last one here, in product guides and a new resource center. So we are going to be putting basically walkthrough tours, teaching you how to use various different features in Lisio, alongside of a brand new resource center that is going to be super stellar. Brandon, who's joining us here today, has been doing a fantastic job along with Ryan to create an awesome resource center. So hope you're all looking forward to that. So with that, we'll bring Lindsay back for a poll. We'll do it in the chat, actually.
Yeah. So basically what we wanted to know, guys, is because we are doing these in product guides and the resource center, so it's going to be a lot of like best practices, workflows, how to use certain features. We are curious, are there features in Lisio that you find yourself needing the most help with? Like you go to use them and you forget how to use them and you feel like you want to reach out to us, but you maybe don't. We're just curious, what sort of things do you want to be able to self-serve, use the feature yourself, but have a little bit of a guide there? Is it going to be Edox? Is it managing tasks? Is it managing files? What is it? We're just curious. If you guys have any ideas or anything that you find yourself struggling with, throw it in the chat. We are just curious. We're wanting to know, how can we help you guys self-serve a little bit more, right?
And so we'll move on. You guys can certainly think about it over the webinar and chat us. We'll keep this chat and look back at it. And if you come up with something in the middle of the night while you're sleeping, send us a note.
Definitely. Okay, we've got a lot of people saying Edox. Oh, and OneDrive integration. Is that available yet? Yes. So the OneDrive integration is available. There is a tutorial video on our YouTube channel. I still can't decide if you guys are just setting me up to plug the YouTube channel even more, but the OneDrive integration is live. You can set that up underneath your profile section, and there is a tutorial video that will walk you through how to use it. So keep that in mind. Scan directly to Liscio. Okay, got it. All right, we will. Yeah, we'll look through some of these. Thank you guys for your feedback. As you know, we thrive off of feedback. So thank you. Thank you. So we'll take a look at these after the webinar today.
Okay, so let's go on to the next piece here. And that is actually going to be a few things on Edox, because we know you love them. We love them. We just want to make sure that we have the best practices out there. And so what we're going to be talking about is, what's number one?
Wow. I just want someone that's always on these webinars to count how many times I say the word YouTube in one webinar. I did actually just drop a brand new video today on our YouTube channel. It's a coffee break with me talking about the different ways that you can get things signed electronically in Lisio. There are obviously two different ways. One is Edox, one is get a signature task. And we get a lot of questions on the differences between the two. So I spent about 5 minutes in a video going through those differences. So if you want to check it out, feel free. And then now I will stop my rant and let Emily continue.
It's a video with Lindsay and her coffee wine.
It is.
Okay, so we'll move on. Purchasing Edox is always a big question. So that'll be the next thing we cover, along with signature options for multi-signers, and then following Edoc audit trails. So let's go ahead and talk first about purchasing Edox. So a lot of you will reach out, which is perfectly fine. Always feel free to reach out to the support team. We love to talk to you. But there is a little button in the bottom left corner of all of your Lisio accounts. You may have used it, and we like to call it the entity switcher, because you'll be on your main Lisio account pretty much all day, every day. But if you want to switch over to the Lisio corporate account where we are, you can just click on the entity switcher, pop into Lisio Corp, and this is where we will actually send you a purchase agreement through Edox. So we're using the Edox feature. We will send you a task and you'll be able to click that. Aha, here's one of our updates. So just wanted to make sure that you all knew there's a nice little entity switcher down here. If you want to reach out to us first to ask us how to get that form, that's perfectly fine, but really easy way to get to the corporate account. Next has been a big question throughout tax season is, what do I do? You know, we know how to do maybe a single signer, but what do we do if we have a document that needs multiple signers? And a lot of people will, be sending out 8879s, but there's a need for other documents to have multiple signatures. So I just want to take you through that real quick. So of course, we're going to go up to add new Edoc. And for my example, I'm going to go ahead and just say, there's business partners that want to both sign an ACH authorization form. So I'm going to have Lindsay assist me with this. And in the to field, I'm going to add the first recipient and the account. Now the next step is really simple. You just click right back into that to field to add the next signer. So you'll do that for any document that needs multiple signatures if you're using Edox. Then you can choose your title and bring in your document. In this case, I'm just going to use a template. And then I'm going to prepare the doc for signing. And what that's going to allow me to do, and you're probably familiar with this feature, is it's going to then get me into the Adobe Sign tools. So this is where the questions often come in. You know how to get this far, but what do I do now that I have two signature fields? So what I'm going to do is in the upper right corner, there's a section called Recipients. What you'll notice is here's Leslie, and then Stephanie has the little blue box. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to keep it under that little gold color and drag a signature field over for my first signer. And then I'm also additionally going to grab that date field. You want to make sure that they both have that gold color to them, because then I can go in and actually get my second signer's spot for signature by just changing the recipient, and it will turn that blue color. So I'll go back and grab a spot for our second signer to fill out their signature. And then I'm going to do the date as well. Now, you don't have to worry if you make a mistake. You don't have to delete it and start over. You can actually just right click to edit the fields and then you can actually change who's assigned to right there. So very easy. If you want a refresher on this webinar, of course, is going to be required or recorded and up on YouTube. So we hope that this is helpful for you in the future. And then the last step is to send. But before I go on, any questions we want to answer live?
I don't think so. I think we are okay for, oh wait, we do have a question. Okay, this is a really good question, David. We get this a lot. For an 8879, is there any way to do husband and wife without each being a separate contact? That's a good question.
To do it without each having a separate contact. Okay, so it sounds like they might be sharing an email address or one doesn't use email. That's perfectly fine. You won't be able to go the Edoc route because this is meant for them to be going in to do an electronic signature. However, we have the kind of the handy way of sending it as just a PDF to the person that does use Lisio, the spouse that is in Lisio or the partner that's in Lisio, where you could just upload it in maybe a request information task and have them print it. They can both sign it and then they'll scan it back with the mobile app. So really quick and easy for them if maybe one person is not in Lisio.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then David asked, do you have a YouTube channel? Oh, yes, we do. And then I did see, I saw we had a question. Joe asked, is there a way to make sure which signer signs first?
There actually is. So when you are creating the Edoc for the first time, it's actually the signing order that determines who's getting the task first. So when I came in here and I added Leslie Smith, and then I added Stephanie Andrews. With signing order on, what that means is Leslie is going to get the task first. Only when she completes it will Stephanie's task then generate, notifying Stephanie that she is an item for signature. So Stephanie will not receive it right away.
Yeah, and Joe, it's also worth mentioning that, Emily, if you click that assign order /KBA button in the upper right corner, you do have the ability to move people into specific spots. So if you want someone to sign first, maybe it's the business owner and then the assistant, for example.
Yeah.
So, yep. Okay.
And you can turn signing order off so they get it at the exact same time. Doesn't matter who signs first.
Okay, so Emily, I'm going to go ahead and sign this as the client real quick so that way you can show the audit trail. So I'm going to sign that now.
So what Lindsay is talking about is next we want to tell you a little bit about how to understand more about your eDocs. Common question that we get a lot or throughout tax season especially is, okay, I got notified that somebody has signed, but where's my document? Or how can I even tell that somebody has signed? There's a few ways. Lindsay just went in and signed as Leslie. So what I want to show you first is I'm getting notified because I'm the task owner. And if I click on that task that she just signed, it's showing me Leslie has signed the agreement, but as you can tell, there's no attachment. That's a question that we commonly get asked is somebody has signed, but where's the attachment? So as we talked about earlier with signing order, remember Leslie was the first one to sign, and then Stephanie's going to get her task next. And there's a way to tell what's going on your eDocs page. So of course you can filter to find the appropriate document, but if I click on that eDoc, what's really handy is this audit trail on the right-hand side. I can see that Leslie has signed, but Stephanie has not. It's still sent for signature. So that's why I don't have that completed document back just yet. Only once Stephanie signs will I then get my completed document. And that document, as you know, is then stored and filed in each client's file section. Another little tip, if I wanted to see maybe Stephanie's taking a little longer than I'd like, even with the awesome task reminders that go out each Wednesday, a little tip, this is actually a hyperlink. I can pop right into that task and leave her a nice little comment. Please remember to sign. And then that will actually push out another notification. That's really all there is to it. So those are just some hot tips for eDocs. A lot of the questions that we've had over tax season. Hope that will help you out here in the future. Now, the next thing we want to move on to is actually how to work as a team in Lisio. And I know we're talking team, maybe that means more than one employee, but actually some of these tips are great for people that work solo. So we're going to start with some file best practices. We've even seen some people request some guided tours for files, so this should be helpful. How to keep employees in the loop, how to delegate tasks, and then how to make sure that the owner or specific people on your team aren't getting bombarded in Lisio. So let's start with file best practices. We like to call it FAA, F-A-A. Lindsay and I think we're comedians, so feel free to laugh with us or at us, but we think we're funny.
Probably at us, it's fine.
Probably at us. That's okay. So FAA stands for filter, add tag, and archive. It's a common workflow used by many Lisio users, firms, and it's a workflow that we always suggest because it just really helps to get the job done. So let's just see that in action. So let's say that we do get one of our completed Edocs back. We know that files are going to be coming through your main Lisio vault. So what you want to do first is, how do we then find those documents? Well, I can look based on client uploads, or maybe I know exactly which client has signed the document. In this case, I'm going to look up Joe Andrews. So I'm filtering to see, find exactly what I'm looking for. It's a good first step. Next step is to add a tag. Here we have a completed tax return, but we don't have any tags. So as a general rule, you're going to want to make sure your team is tagging, and you may do it in bulk, or you might click to add a tag one at a time. So in this instance, I'm just going to go up here to edit, and I'm going to add the tax return tag, and then I'm going to add the year. And that year might be, the tax return. Month, I might leave blank. Now, when I go back, you'll notice that I have the additional tags added and the year. Really helpful for future years when you're looking for that 2020 return, or your client is. Now, if there are several documents that you want to tag the same thing, down at the very bottom of your page is what you're going to use for a lot of your bulk tagging features, file features, really. So I have multiple files selected. I'm actually going to add the tags to this file. The nice thing here too is that I can only add one tag at a time, but do notice that the files will still be selected. So I can continue adding the year. And then when I'm done, I can actually here, let's get the tag added. Add that year 2020. And then if I'm done with these files, I can refresh my page and it will unselect them. All right, so we did filtering to find what we're looking for. We added the tags. And so I'm going to grab Joe one more time here. And then the last step that we suggest is to archive. Archiving is just a really great way to keep your files not only organized, but cleaning them up helps you to find things quicker. So I've already downloaded Joe's return. Remember, this is only going to archive on my firm side. This does not affect the client side. So I know that I've already taken care of it. I want to make sure my team understands it's been taken care of. So they see the tag, then I archive it, then they don't have to wonder what's going on with this file. And I can do that in bulk at the very bottom. Okay, before we move on, any questions?
We do have a question actually from Megan. I was just typing it out, but since you asked, she was asking, how do I change a tag? Which is really simple. It's just that bulk tag feature at the very bottom. So if you select any files, and you can obviously do it one-on-one on a file if you are in the file, but if you need to do it in bulk, Emily's going to show you, you click on the tag feature, and then you can either choose to add and remove tags or find and replace tags. And you can change them there. Now, if you were talking about your custom tag list, that's going to be in the admin section under preferences, and you will be able to actually add, edit, remove, and kind of change the sort order of your tags as well. So it is an admin feature, but these are totally customizable by you and your team. So that was a really good question. Thank you, Megan. And that's it so far.
Awesome. Yeah, fantastic question. Okay, so next on our list was how to add an employee into a conversation. And this is really important because sometimes clients might send us a question that we need maybe additional help with from somebody else in the team. I know we do that a lot with Liscio Corp. We'll bring each other in to help out. And so it's actually a very simple process. You're going to go to your, locate that message, whether it's in your inbox or under that client's message history. And at the very bottom, when you go to reply, it's just that little additional field. You can click into that additional field. I could make sure that this goes to Lindsay. And the account's already added, so I don't need to add that again. And when I reply, the best part is that Lindsay can see all of the message thread. She can see any files that have been attached previously, and she can start to communicate and maybe help out with this client. So it's as simple as adding them in and replying.
I will say also, guys, this is a really good way for if you have a client that is constantly contacting you, say about tax returns, and maybe you don't handle tax returns. Looping the correct employee into the message thread is a really nice way to kind of subtly train your client to say, when you need something about a tax return, you go to Lindsay, for example. So just kind of a nice way to do that. Oh, and then we've got, hey, Karen, it's good to see you on here. She's asking, can you delete a recipient? No, but I do believe we are going to be looking at a feature that allows you to pop into a new message thread with that recipient, right?
We are definitely looking at something that will help with that.
Yeah. So Karen, if you were to get a message in the future, it's not for you and you need someone, maybe you need someone in your firm to handle it. You can loop that employee in and that employee can then start a new separate message thread. So that way you're no longer involved. So that's going to be in the future, but yeah. So we are looking at that.
All right. So that's how you can maintain that team communication, get people into a conversation if they were not added originally. The next part is delegating tasks. So tasks are really great because of course, there's many features that are awesome here. We get the due dates, you get the auto reminders, the recurring tasks, but you also have that delegation piece. So I'm going to show you just a few things. When I go to create a task initially, remember that you can right away change the owner. So maybe my workflow is I always create the task, but then Brandon is the one that we want notified when the client completes the task. So I can actually just set him up as the owner. So he gets notified whenever the client has questions or needs help or just completes it. So you can do that right from creation. Now, maybe I have a different workflow. Maybe I set up the task and I want to receive the notification. Once I go over everything and I see it's good, I might come in here and decide that. And then the next step is to pass it on to a different team member. So in a task, I can actually go to these three dots and I can edit the task. What the editing will allow me to do is now change that task owner. So it will notify Lindsay here that I've changed this task's ownership. She can come in, she can read everything and take care of it and move on to the next step. So that's number 2. Number 3 is really great because you can do these one-on-one like I'm doing now, or you can do it in bulk. I've heard this is a common workflow where one person in the firm will receive the incoming information from clients. And then once they've reviewed them in bulk, they'll come to bulk actions, reassign task owner. You can filter by the type. So maybe you're specifically looking for completed edocs. And then in mass, I can change the task owner of every edoc to somebody else in my team. And that can be a really nice workflow to pass work on to another team member. Or if I'm going out of office, let's say, and I'm on vacation, put me on a beach with a coconut drink. I don't want to maybe answer any questions from my clients. So any tasks that are assigned to me, I'm going to go ahead and move them over to Lindsay. Lindsay can take care of them. Let's see if I have any that I've assigned. So any tasks I've assigned as well, because these are the client-facing tasks. So I can take all of these, send them over to Lindsay so I can relax on the beach. Next step, it's going to ask me who. And then last step, reassign. Okay, questions?
I think we're good for now. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Now, the last one on our list was controlling firm notifications. You know, if you have somebody in the firm that feels like clients come to them first instead of to maybe the appropriate team members, we do have a way to help you with this, and it's all about the client service teams. So what you can do, if you're unsure about your client service teams, reach out to support. We can actually help pull a list of all of your accounts so that you can come in here and see the teams. Now you'll want these set up correctly, so feel free to ask us for that report. You can go through, make changes. When you send us back that report, we can upload and change your teams in bulk for you. So that's the first step. You want to make sure your client service teams are set up appropriately. The second step is asking our support team to enable what we call the client service team restriction, where let's say Lindsay's getting bombarded from several clients. So we want to make sure that we're actually just directing clients to communicate with the correct people. I'm going to add myself. Maybe I also add Brandon here. And then support enables your restriction. So when any of these contacts come into Lisio and they initiate a conversation or they want to send a file in, what the restriction does is it only allows them to initiate communication with their team, the client service team. So Lindsay actually will not hear from these clients unless Brandon or I loop her in, or she still has the ability to come in and look at their message history and loop herself in, or just contact them directly. The best part about this feature is that clients will not have the option to initiate communication with that person. And so we've heard that this can be really helpful. If you have further questions about how that works, or you're wondering how that will look for the client side, of course, we have our help center with plenty of articles, but our support team is always happy to answer questions. And I think that's all for me. Yes, Lindsay's going to move on over to an account owner refresher.
Okay, let's get this going. Okay, so we're going to talk about account owners, and we do have a couple of questions that I see in this next section, and the very last section will not take me very long, so we'll get to your guys' questions right after this. So I want to talk about the account owner because this can be something that can be sometimes confusing to people. So the account owner, what does it mean for a contact to be an account owner, and who should be an account owner? So when you come into an account, and we're going to go to Craig's Design and Landscaping, you have the ability to view the people that are tied to the account, right? And you will also notice that there is an account owner field right here. Now, I'll start off by saying account owners are typically the owners of the account, right? So it's going to be the business partner. It's going to be the spouses of the 1040. And what this does is it will actually give this contact a little bit more visibility about the account and editing access on the account on their side. So to assign someone as an account owner, you can just really edit the relationship and check this box. Now, when you set up a relationship, it's not checked by default because that's for security purposes, but you can just check it and this will give them a little bit more access. So I am going to move over to the client side so I can show you what this looks like. Okay, so this is Leslie's view of the accounts in her Lisio account. So she's clicked on accounts over here on the left-hand side, and she can see all of the accounts that she's tied to. You'll notice that she is an account owner on all of the accounts but one. So let's take a look at Andrew's art exhibit, the one that she is not an account owner on, real quick. If she clicks on this, she will just have some very, very basic information here, right? Just the overview and not even all of the overview. Okay, so really, really basic. Now, if she clicks on Craig's Design and Landscaping, which she is an account owner on, you're going to notice she has a little bit more information here that she is able to view. Not only that, but she can also actually edit this account information for us. This is a nice way if she needs to onboard her account for us, we need this information. She can come in here and edit this, and her client service team will actually be notified when she does make those changes. Now, she also can view the people that are tied to this account. She cannot do anything about them, but she can see them. She can also see the payroll tab. Okay. She can see logins, and she can actually add logins here for us. So if we need her bank login, for example, she can add it in here for us. And this is an important one, files. She can see all files that are tied to this account, regardless if she was the one that uploaded them or if another person that's tied to the account has uploaded them. So for example, her assistant. So she is able to view all of the files tied to this account. Okay. Any questions on
non-private?
All non-private. Yes. Thank you. It's because private files in Lisio are firm only files, right? So she cannot see private files, but she can see files that other people tied to the account have uploaded. Okay. Any questions on account owner? Just yet. I think we're good.
We're good.
Okay. So one thing I do like to mention is that account owners will also have this option to invite a contact. So this is kind of a nice feature because if they get a new business partner, if they have a banker that they would like to work with in Lisio about their account and would like to work with you with their banker, they actually have the ability to add these people in as a contact to the account. And this is nice because then they can start sharing files with you back and forth. And it's a really nice way for if you have a banker that's always emailing you some sensitive information, your client can be the person to be like, hey, I need you to get into Lisio, right? So if there are no questions on account owner, that's kind of the main refresher. So the main takeaways of an account owner, guys, is that they are going to have more access to the account. They will be able to edit the account information, and they will also be able to see files that are tied to the account that are non-private. Okay. So that's it for account owners. Just wanted to give you guys a really quick update on that, a little refresher. And then the last thing that we're going to cover before we get to some of your guys' questions is an end user FAQ that we have gotten a ton of questions about this season. In particular, you guys may be some of the people on this call that have also received this. We have gotten this, I can't see my files tab, or my client cannot see their files tab, or the files tab is not available on the left-hand navigation for my client.
Can we make it a little bit bigger, Lindsay?
Oh yeah. Why is that? Why can't they see the files tab over here? So you see how you'll notice there's no files tab, right? It appears that way. So this actually happens if the screen is too small. That's it. It's as simple as that. And you will sometimes see this happen with web browsers such as Internet Explorer or Microsoft Edge. And in that case, we always ask, why use that? That's just what I ask. We always recommend using browsers like Google Chrome or Firefox, but I want to show you guys just real quickly on the client side how this can happen. And if you happen to be in person with your client, or if you happen to be on the phone with them during this time, it's a really, really simple fix. So if you go into the client side, and what I'm going to do is on my keyboard, I am hitting Control and the plus sign. You're going to notice how now that left-hand navigation, I mean, you can't see really anything, right? I'm zoomed in a lot. There are two ways that you can fix this. Number one, if you just hover over the left-hand navigation and scroll, you'll see that it will actually scroll with you. So I'm just scrolling on my mouse. The other way is to just zoom out on the screen. So if you hit Control and minus, you'll notice it goes back to 100%, and I can even zoom out a little bit more if I need to. But this is a really simple fix. It's just something that, you've got clients that really like to have their screen zoomed in, and it can be a little confusing when they can't see their files tab. So the main fix is just zoom out a little bit or just scroll. And Emily, I think you mentioned that we are looking to fix this long-term. Is that correct?
Our product team, our product development team is aware that this is a question we receive frequently. So we have asked them to look into it.
Okay, awesome. Very good. Okay, so I know, so that's pretty much it for the main agenda. I can't believe we got through this as quickly as we did.
Oh,
I know. I'm like, wow. Okay, so we do have some questions that I would like to answer live for you guys. And if there are more questions that you guys have, feel free to throw them in the Q&A and or the chat at this time, and we'll take questions from you guys. So we do have a question from Miriam, and Emily, I'll probably ask you to help me with some of these questions, but Can more than one employee get a notification when client uploads or answers messages? So a couple things here. If you want multiple people to receive notifications when a file is uploaded to an account, the best way to do this, Miriam, is to assign client service team members to the account. And as Emily mentioned before, if you need help doing this in bulk, contact Lisio support. We're more than happy to help you. But basically what this means, Miriam, is that when someone uploads a file to the account, the members of this client service team will receive an alert, and that is a system generated message. And I'm going to show you that in the inbox here real quick. So I'm switching to the inbox, and then I'm going to click on my alerts tab up here at the top. This is a way that everyone on the client service team can be notified when a file is uploaded to an account. Now, when it comes to messages, that is something that I think, and Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, that is something that will be a future feature with groups, right? We would allow people to kind of send clients to send a message to a specific group, right?
Yes, yes.
Yep. Okay. All right. So there's that one. We've got a question from Wayne. And of course, I'm going to get to Wayne's question because he's supporting our raises here at Lisio. So Wayne is asking if the client completes the task, but the owner doesn't mark the task complete. So an e-signature document, an Edoc signature particularly, does the client keep getting those notifications each week? So I believe, and Emily, correct me.
Can we help you on that one?
So that's a no, right? Because the task is no longer in an open status. It is in a pending review status, Wayne. So yes, so when a client completes a task on their end, what it does is it moves it from the open task category and it goes to the pending review category. So at this point, once it's in pending review, the clients are no longer going to receive those automated task reminders.
I do want to clarify one quick thing though. For get a signature tasks and Edox are two signature tasks. It is a review and sign process. So they review it, they sign it, and we automatically move it to pending review. For the other types of tasks, like a request information, that stays open until the client marks it complete. So if they thought they completed it, but never hit that complete button, or maybe the firm side read it, but didn't hit that complete button and it's still open, then they will continue to get those notifications. That's why it's so important to make sure that when you internally on the firm side are done with a task, you mark it complete and archive it. Really good question, Wayne. Okay. So we've got a couple more questions. Okay, so I'm going to answer Amy's live. Can/will assigning a due date option be included on the Edoc task window? So if we go to add an Edoc, oh yeah, I guess we don't have a due date option. Is that something we've looked at, Emily? I know we've mentioned it to our product development team. It's not currently on our roadmap, the one that you saw today, but I know we've mentioned it to them. You can't do it from the initial setup, but you can always go back into the task and edit that. Okay, that's good to know. So Amy, basically what Emily's saying there is when you initially set it up, you're not able to, but when you come back in here, you should actually be able to. So I'm assuming, Emily, this actually will set it for just a default to a week out, correct? Yep. So when you, Amy, when you set up an Edoc, it will default the due date to a week out. If you would like to change it though, you can come in here and do that on this task. That was a good question. Okay. Oh, Carrie's got a good one. Hi, Carrie. Carrie's asking, can a message thread be forwarded to an employee without messaging the client? This is a really good question. So we have a workaround for it right now. It is a future feature, right? We're going to work on, that's message forwarding, right, Emily? Okay. So a couple of things here. Sort of. I don't, message forwarding, it's not going to be like an email forwarding. Okay. It's a little different, but there are plans to help combat what you're kind of talking about, Carrie. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So Carrie, the way that this works right now, obviously you can add an employee to the thread, say, thank you, Emily will handle this. However, there is another way that you can do this. Every single message thread in Lisio has a unique URL. So you can use this to your advantage.
Now you can do this in two ways, right? You can copy this URL and then send it as a to-do task to another employee in Lisio and say, hey, I don't know the answer to this, or I don't know how your firm works necessarily, but we use an internal chat system. So we use Microsoft Teams. So this has happened to us before in Lisio Corp, for example. I get a question from a client. I may not know the answer. So what I do is I actually copy this URL and then I hit Emily in Teams chat and I send her that link and I'm like, hey, can you check this out for me? I'm not exactly sure how to answer it. This is really good for training purposes as well. If you've got a brand new employee and they may say, hey, how would I craft this message to this client, right? So the unique URL is a really good way to use that. Okay, let's see. What other things do we have?
We have one from Abigail. Is there going to be a reminder for us when we have docs pending for review? So in your tasks, when you have something pending review, will you get notified? And the answer actually is yes. So in the notification center on the left-hand side, you will receive automated reminders each Wednesday. Actually, yeah, Lindsay may have already found one. Let's see if we have one here.
Oh, look at all these tasks. You just reassigned all of your tasks to me. Go on vacation. Go get your coconut drink. Here we go.
Yep.
Yeah, reminder summary. It will, you'll get a reminder summary, once a week, every Wednesday, and it will take you right to your task page to show you. And any task that you actually send out and you are the owner of, they will show up on your My Tasks section of your dashboard, right? So anything down here is what I need to handle, okay? Good question. Okay, what else do we have?
We have another good one. Somebody's asking again about spell check through Google. And what we just want to remind you of is Lisio doesn't use spell check, but we don't create our own. It just uses whatever your browser has. So really you just go into your browser settings and make sure your spell check is enabled.
I will try and find that for you guys real quick so I can show you.
Okay, we'll move on with another question while you look.
Yeah, you go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Another question is sign signature line. Okay, so somebody said a wife accidentally signed on her husband's signature line in an Edoc. What's the easiest way to fix that? So it actually kind of sounds like it sounds like somebody may be sharing a login potentially for their Lisio accounts. So if they signed, you'd probably have to just send them a new one, or you can send it, if they don't want to do electronic, they can always do the, print, sign, scan. But if they signed on the wrong signature line, I would just make sure that they know which account is theirs and which email address they should be using as their username to log in. So there's no way to actually edit the document once it's completed.
Yeah, and I would also say, if you want us to take a look at that specifically in your account, feel free to send us a note to support, and we would be happy to do that. Okay, I did find the spell check in.
One thing really quick on spell check, Amy mentioned it, and I'm personally a Grammarly lover as well, Amy. Grammarly is free. I mean, you can pay for premium subscriptions, but Grammarly also does work in Lisio, and it works really well.
I use that as well. So for those of you using Google Chrome, I'm going to bring my settings over here. If you actually go into your advanced settings in Google Chrome, and this is probably going to be the same exact process for other browsers, I'm sure. If you go into advanced, there is a spell check that you can turn on, and you can do the advanced if you would like. But I also use Grammarly. So I use spell check plus Grammarly, and it helps a ton. So I highly recommend doing that. And it typically will work on like any other app that you work on. So recommend that. Okay, so let's see, what else do we have? Okay, we have
one other really good one from Courtney.
Yeah, go for it.
It's a good one because we get this question fairly often. When a client asks to update their email address, so Lindsay's kind of taking into that right now, does that affect their ability to log in? The answer is yes. What you're doing when you go to edit and change their email address is you're essentially tying them to a brand new username. But the biggest thing is when she hits update contact, this contact is receiving a new invite, just asking them to set a new password, tie that email address with their current account. If they miss that invite, all you have to do is use those 3 little dots to send them a reset password link, and they won't have any trouble getting into Lisio.
So I'm going to show you, I'm going to pull over real quick. I know we are really tight on time. I'm going to show you real quick what Jackie just received. So Jackie actually got a couple of emails to let her know that her email address has been changed. And then she also received this activate account email. So what it's going to do is actually allow them to create a new password. It's for security purposes when their email address is changed. So when their email address is changed in the system, they need to basically reset their password using this activate email. And then from then on out, they will log into Lisio using that new email address. So that's a really good question. Okay, so you guys are great. Thank you so much for all of the great questions. I always love having these. You guys give us such great engagement, and we truly appreciate you guys showing up in such a busy time. I also do just want to shout out Brandon for having the office as his background on Zoom. So thank you all so much for joining us. We truly appreciate it. This is going to be recorded. We'll put it up on our YouTube channel. You know I was going to say it. We'll put it up on our YouTube channel after this. We will likely have another Lindsay and Emily show in May coming up. We'll have some new features.
Try to coerce Brandon into talking next time. Maybe do a little presentation.
I'll talk more next time.
All right. All right. Well, we're going to hold you to that.
My name's not in the title. My name's not in the title.
That's true. That's true. Maybe we'll put you in there, tiny little font, just tiny little font.
Yep.
Thank you guys. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Please take care, stay healthy and safe, and try and de-stress as much as you can. So thank you all again so much. We will see you probably sometime around next month.
Woohoo!
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, guys.